So the previous verse ended, verse 18, with the Jews trying to kill Jesus. Why? Because not so much what he did on the Sabbath. That miracle led, or that sign led to then the question concerning the working, which ultimately Jesus, they understood then that Jesus is making himself equal to God. Okay, so is Jesus going to then say, oh, no, you misunderstand me, this is not what I'm getting at, sorry for doing that, I misunderstood you, you are misunderstanding me? No, he did not. Okay, when we study the chapter concerning his, the reason for Jesus' death on the cross, it is all to do with ultimately the fact that Jesus made himself to be equal to God. Okay, that means God. And so for those, like say for example the Muslims, I'm in a Muslim country, right, believing that Jesus is not God, then you are calling Jesus a liar. And you just need to think very well concerning the fact that you count Jesus as a prophet. But if he wasn't God, then he was a liar. And if you count him as a prophet, how can you count him as a prophet? You can't count him as one of the most important prophets if he's actually a liar. It's impossible, right? And and for Jehovah's Witnesses or other people like that, who Jesus was swapped on the cross, kind of the idea, right? All of these things, or all that Jesus is not God, ultimately, that makes Jesus a liar. That makes throwing all about it out. You can't believe anything. The same holds true for liberal Bible scholars. If some things Jesus says is true and other things not, throw him out. Like C.S. Lewis said, you can't just see Jesus as a great teacher, right? You can't just say I follow Jesus' teaching because his teaching is great, right? But he taught that he's God, and then he's a liar. And then how can you follow anything that Jesus said? Because you can't trust any of the things he said. You're not going to trust the words of a madman in an institute, right? In a mental institute, that is. So, but we'll get back to that point when we get further onto it. So Jesus is not going to say, no, you're wrong, you must understand me correctly. No, actually he's going to pour oil on the fire by clearly stating that, no, they're actually right. And he is not hiding the fact that he is making himself equal to God. Verse 19. So Jesus said to them, truly, truly, I say to you, the Son can do nothing of his own accord, but only what he sees the Father doing. Whatever the Father does, that the Son does likewise. So he's saying, nothing I'm doing now I can do on my own. So if I'm lying to you, then what you are saying is that since the Father is doing through me and I'm lying to you, the Father is as well lying because he's using someone as lying to teach you. Okay, now yes, sure, God can work through evil to bring forth good. But this is a different question here. This is God directly using, not indirectly, directly using Jesus and giving him signs to do and then giving him words to say. Okay, so if this is God using evil, Jesus, so as to teach us something, then God is not just, he is literally putting his stamp of approval on Jesus in doing evil, which would make God evil. It's different than Joseph selling, the brothers of Joseph selling him into slavery. Okay, it's a different thing. Here it's clearly God ordained, God's stamp, God's approval of. And if he is approving of Jesus being a liar and using lies to teach something, then this is wrong. Okay, I always say, like for example, you teach your kids in that Father Christmas exists, right? You're lying to them. Or Baptists are saying, drinking is evil, it's a sin, because you want to protect them. I spoke a lot in videos about this. Not only Baptists, Reformed people, we do the same thing. We say doing this is sinful when we are just using this excuse to protect people. You don't, like Adam tried to protect his wife there in the garden by lying to her. That's wrong. You're not protecting people by lying to them. You need to speak the truth. Like, I know people will hate me because I think I speak the truth. Right? And I know what people want to hear. But I can't stand by and just lie to you and tell you what you want to hear. I need to speak the truth. You're going to lie to me, then so be it. The reason I don't have the comments on the YouTube videos on is not because I'm afraid that you're going to hate me, because I know you will. Right? But because I just don't have the time to answer. That's simple. Okay. So no, he is clearly saying, what the Father does, I do. Okay, Son does likewise. So if what I'm doing is evil, then what the Father is doing is evil. Think about what you're saying. Right? This is what Jesus is getting to here in this teaching moment, and this is as well what John is getting to trying to get through to the religious leaders. If you say what Jesus did is evil, then you are saying what God is doing is evil. Verse 20, for the Father loves the Son and shows him all that he himself is doing, and greater works than these will he show him, so that you may marvel. Right? No, it's not because he is doing evil deeds and therefore the Father is doing evil deeds. But he's doing great deeds because God loves him. The Father loves him. If he was doing wrong things, okay, and the Father loved him, then that is as well, again, that stamp of approval, that would mean that God loves those who do evil. That doesn't make sense. So if you're saying that Jesus isn't God, and Jesus is wrong, then God's stamp of approval and the deeds shows that God is evil. The fact that God loves him shows that God is evil. Question, right? This is not a Marvel movie where the evil actually always like the gods, right? They are the evil ones. Okay? No. So Marvel, yeah. Marvel, sorry, Marvel guys, you loving the Marvel movies, but that's basically Satanism in a low level, where the devil, right, becomes the great guy, and God becomes actually the evil one. But yeah, okay, why not though? So you marvel, marvel. You're going to see greater deeds. So if you think these deeds that you are seeing, just this guy, you're going to see greater deeds. Okay, what ultimately is the greatest deed? The death of the Son on the cross. There's no greater deed than that. There's no greater miracle than that. So for you, I've attacked the Reform today, kind of say in a slight way the Baptists, Muslims, Buddhists, whoever. I've been attacking everybody, I guess, in a certain sense. But here as well, so the Pentecostals, right? The greatest deeds. You go on about the great deeds, and Jesus said after his death, and we'll see greater deeds. Which greater deed can there ever be but the death of the God-man for his enemies? There can't be a greater deed than that. So if you say that the miracles you do in your churches are great deeds, and look at this, you've got it all wrong. The greatest deed is the death of Jesus on the cross. The life, the death, the resurrection. There's no greater deed than that. So Jesus telling you, do you think these guys are great? Oh man, wait till you see that. Then you will marvel. Okay, not DC, you'll marvel. Verse 41. For as the Father raises the dead and gives them life, so also the Son gives life to whom he will. Okay? The Son, the Father gives life. So we haven't seen any of that yet. The Son gives life to whom he will. Not so when he going to raise Lazarus from the dead, Jesus gave life to whom he will. He gave life to Lazarus. Okay? And as well at the same time, that is what his ultimate own life, giving his own life to himself. No one took his own life, he gave his own life, right? No one took it, he gave it. So he took it back as well. So giving himself life, no one can do that. No one can raise himself from the dead. And as well, whom he will. Not what you want. And ultimately the life, chapter 3, new birth. Where it comes, does it come from? From Jesus. He gives. Chapter 1, you're born from God, not from your own one. You don't have life. You can't resurrect yourself. You can't give yourself give yourself new life from being a slave to sin. You are a slave to sin. You can't, by choice, make yourself free. It is impossible.